From the CyberHub bunker and studio, you're tuning in to the CyberHub Podcast. And now for your host and CISO, James Azar.
Good morning, security gang. Welcome to another episode of the CyberHub Podcast Practitioner Brief, aka your most important and top cyber news for the day. Wednesday, February 22nd, 2023. A packed show this morning. A lot going on in the terms of exploits, flaws, as well as a data breach to report, unfortunately. We'll be talking about some botnets, a few additional vulnerabilities that have been added to the system must-patch list, and India and Pakistan haven't been in the news for quite some time, but a interesting kind of operation going on in that part of the world. We'll be discussing all of that on this morning's show, so don't go anywhere. CyberHubPodcast.com, where you can find all the latest. Yesterday's new episode of CISA Talk Podcast was released with my awesome, amazing friend Danny Wolf, the founder and CEO of Audience First. And you go, well, she's not a CISO. No, she's not. She's new to security. She started a marketing company, and she's marketing to people like me and you and every other practitioner. And I decided to do a reverse episode with Danny. And I said, Danny, what do we need to understand as CISOs from marketers, and what should marketers be doing a better job on? Very fascinating conversation around buzzwords, around knowledge base, around kind of common mistakes. Make sure you go check it out. CISO Talk Podcast on cyberhubpodcast.com or your favorite podcast listening platform. And now I'll grab my traditional double espresso this morning. I hope y'all will join me with drinking whatever beverage you choose to power you through this hump day. Coffee cup cheers, y'all. Someone yesterday DM'd me, by the way, and said, like, you say y'all a lot. And I go, well, I live in the South, Georgia. So y'all is kind of like a passage here. So let's kick off with VMware pushing out a major security fix yesterday to cover a critical vulnerability in its enterprise-facing Carbon Black app control product. The high severity advisory is tracked as CVE 2023-20858. It warns that attackers can launch injection exploits to gain full access to the underlying server OS. A malicious actor with privileged access to the app control admin console may be able to use specially crafted input, allowing access to the underlying server operating system. The vulnerability carries a CVSS score of 9.1 out of 10. FX control versions 8.7, 8.8, 8.9 are running on Microsoft Windows OS. The company said the issue was privately reported by a security researcher on the HackerOne bug bounty platform with the name of Jara Jasakala. Well done, Jari Jasakala. If I butchered your name, I sincerely apologize. But a job well done. Thank you for wearing the white hat on behalf of all of us. VMware Carbon Black App Control is a security product used by enterprise defenders to ensure that only trusted and approved software is allowed to execute on critical systems and endpoints. VMware also issued an important security advisory to warn of privilege escalation and information disclosure in its vRealize Orchestrator product. So you want to make sure you get your VMware Carbon Black products patched. On Thursday, we reported on the Fortinet RCE flaws. Well, now an exploit has been released, and there's an urgent call to patch now. The CVE 2022-399-52 in the Fortinet FortiNAC Network Access Control Suite, which was disclosed on the 16th of this month, has a severity score of 9.8. A proof of concept exploit has now been released, and Fortinet is out there begging people to patch these systems. The analysts who discovered the fix for this CVE removed the key upload.jsp, an endpoint that parses requests for a key parameter, writes it on the config file, then executes it as bash script. This is now readily available. You can imagine that the moment this was written, the moment this was notified, threat actors started scanning for these devices to take advantage of them. This is a priority one in your organization. The examples for this go all the way back. Anytime there's a proof of concept exploit, there's attackers out there trying to take advantage of systems that haven't been patched yet, of devices and endpoints that haven't been patched yet. Given that this is a security device on your network, you want to make sure you get it patched immediately. I can't state this enough. Make sure you get this patched. The new versions 9.4.1 or later, 9.2.6 or above, 9.1.8 or newer, and 7.2.0 or later are the ones that are not That's the versions where you need to be at. So just keep that in mind this morning. Activision is confirming a data breach, and they're exposing employee and game info all there. Activision has confirmed that it suffered a data breach in early December after attackers gained access to the company's internal system by tricking an employee with another SMS phishing text twice in 2 days. Yesterday, we talked about Coinbase having one of their engineers fall for an SMS phishing text. The same has applied there. If you haven't updated your company communication to say, we're not going to text you, and if we're going to text you, we're never going to ask you to log in. We're only going to text you on plain text in the event of an emergency, and it's never going to ask you to log in. Like, this should be something that goes out from every security team today to the rest of your teams, if you haven't done it yet. Just a simple one-line memo that says, hello, we would never text you on your phone and ask you to log in to any company device. We do that either through email or approved company communication channels like Slack, Teams, or whatever it is that you use. So on December 4th, the information security team addressed an SMS phishing attempt and quickly resolved it. Following a thorough investigation, they determined that no sensitive employee data, game code, or player data was accessed, according to a company spokesman in a statement to Bleeping Computer. However, security research group VX Underground says that the threat actor exfiltrated sensitive workplace documents along with content release schedule until November 17th of this year, 2023. Screenshots shared show that the attackers had gained access to the Slack account of an Activision employee on December 2nd and tried to trick other employees into clicking into malicious links. The video game publication Insider Gaming had obtained and analyzed the entire leak, reporting that the cache contains full names, email addresses, phone numbers, salaries, work locations, and other employee detail. Moreover, the publication claims that the hacked employee was from the HR department and had access to a swath of sensitive employee details. Insider Gaming has listed all the game titled related content revealed by the breach, which includes upcoming content bundles for the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 franchise. Oh no, man, come on. Since the breach occurred in December of 2022, some information obtained by Activision is likely to appear outdated by now. Bleeping Computer didn't have access to this information, so they've been unable to validate it. With that being said, Activision, and again, SMS phishing, not new, but something we ought to be talking about. The Botnet is spreading rapidly worldwide. The sophisticated botnet known as the MyloBot has compromised thousands of systems, with most of them located in India, the US, Indonesia, and Iran. That's according to new findings from BitSide, which said it's currently seeing more than 50,000 unique infected systems every day, down from around 250,000 unique hosts in 2020. Furthermore, the analysis of the MyloBot's infrastructure has found connections to a residential proxy service called BH Proxies, indicating that the compromised machines are being used by the latter. MyloBot, which emerged on the threat landscape in 2017, was first documented by Deep Instinct in 2018, calling out its anti-analysis technique and its ability to function as a downloader. What makes it dangerous is its ability to download and execute any type of payload after it infects a host, according to Black Lotus Labs in 2018. Last year, the malware was observed sending extortion emails from hacked endpoint as part of a financially motivated campaign seeking over $2,700 in Bitcoins. Milo receives an instruction from a C2. It transforms the infected computer into a proxy. The infected machine will be able to handle many connections and relay traffic sent through a command and control server. Well, why would someone use this? There's a whole slew of reasons behind this. One, you start to use these botnets as proxies for attacks, meaning if you're, for example, China or Russia, you infect all of these four countries because you want to use them as proxies, maybe to attack each other, or it's vice versa, route your attacks through them to make it seem like stuff's coming out of their way. Classic misdirection. And so something to keep in mind here when we talk about attribution. That's why part of attribution is extremely difficult. CISA has added 2 Mitel vulnerabilities to its known exploit vulnerabilities catalog. The Mitel MeVoice Connect business communication platform is being exploited in the wild. Tracked as CVE 2022-41223 and 40765 can be exploited by an attacker with internal access to the targeted org's network to execute arbitrary code or commands within the context of the application. A patch is in place for both of those. A researcher from CrowdStrike has been credited by Mitel for reporting the vulnerabilities. these security holes in the availability of patches was known back in October of 2022. But now that it's being added, it lets you know that there's a whole lot of these that are unpatched yet. And some people may look at this and go, well, why do I need to patch it? You want to patch it. You want to make sure it gets on your must patch, high risk rating type list. If CISA puts it there, then there's probably a very good reason why it's there to begin with. So there's active exploits for this. If you're using this and you haven't done the patch, you want to make sure to get it done as well. And finally, we'll go to the ReverseRAT backdoor that's targeting government agencies in India. The updated version of the ReverseRAT is now being part of a spear phishing campaign targeting Indian government entities. The cybersecurity firm Threatmon attributed the activity to a threat actor tracked as Side Copy. Side Copy is a Pakistani origin threat group that shares overlap with another actor called Transparent Tribe. It is so named for mimicking the infection chains associated with Sidewinder to deliver its malware. The adversarial crew was first observed delivering the ReverseRAT in 2021. And again, Lumen's Black Lotus Labs detailed the attacks back then as well. Recent attack campaigns with Side Copy have primarily set their sights on two-factor authentication solution known as Kavesh or Armor in Hindi that's used by Indian government officials. The infection journey documented by Threatmon commences with a phishing email containing a macro-enabled Word document. The file masquerades as a fake advisory from India's Ministry of Communication about Android threats and prevention. Most of the content has been copied verbatim from an actual alert. Only they've added some macros and RAT code, malicious code, into the doc. And the moment you download it, it actually starts running. Once it's gaining persistence, it enumerates the victim's device, collects data, encrypts it using RC4, and sends it to a command and control server. According to the company, it waits for commands to execute on the target machine, and some of its functions include taking screenshots, downloading and executing files, and uploading files to the C2 server, showing you just why government needs to focus more and more on training as well. So that's it for our show this morning. We'll be back tomorrow to wrap it all up. Thanks, y'all, for tuning in. Happy Wednesday. And most importantly, go patch your Fortinet and VMware devices today. Don't be on that list. And most importantly, stay cyber safe.
We love feedback, so make sure to connect with us on social media and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform.